Welcome back. You're listening to WSB Stony Brook. You just listened to Patterns of Decay, latest album called Suicide Notes and Comic Sans. Mm-hmm. I'm now joined by all 5 members of the band. They're here in the studio. How about you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what you play in the band?
Okay, thanks for having us. We appreciate it. I'm Matt. I play guitar, and I do clean vocals and backup screaming.
What up? I'm Christian, and I scream. That's it.
What's up, guys? I'm Dan. I do guitar, lead guitar. That's pretty much it.
I'm Tony, and I play drums.
I'm the most interesting. My name is Jesse. I play the long bass.
Ooh,
that's
bass.
Right. Yeah.
Not a short bass, but a long bass.
Long bass.
So, how did you guys meet, and kind of give people a brief history of the band so far for people who may not know you?
Okay.
How we met.
Or how this project formed together.
Well, how we met goes back about 14 years. No, 14 years?
Yeah, about 14. Yeah, about 14 years.
Yeah, me and Dan. We were young boys. We were friends.
Yeah.
Friends first.
Known this man since the tender age of 16. Been playing music together ever since.
Yeah, so.
And I've known Christian for about, I don't know, maybe like 10 to 15 years at this point. So, you know, all of us kind of in our own sections go back a long ways. But as far as a band, we've almost been a band for 5 years. Me, Dan, and Christian are founding members. We welcomed our lovely boys, Tony and Jesse, and they've made this whole thing is just so much better for us. We work together very nicely, and we get along, and there's some moderate horseplay involved.
So, what I think is pretty interesting about you guys is that on Facebook you put nicknames for each other. So they are Spaghetti for Dan, Matterns for Matthew.
Yeah, it's not very inspired.
Jesse, Tony. His nickname is Tweak. The only person without a nickname on Facebook is Christian.
Christmas.
Yeah, we call him Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, where did all these nicknames originate from?
Mostly Dan or Tim and Eric.
Yeah. You know, a lot of nights spent watching that just in my own head, and, you know, sometimes I just started calling him that, and it kind of stuck, I guess.
Yeah, our first bassist we called the human hoverboarder because he was a man sent from the future.
Yeah, he was like half hippie, half drifter, half 1,000-year-old entity.
Half horse.
I couldn't really make left or right of him. He was either 31 or 55.
Some say he has no age.
So you guys played a lot of shows for 5 years as a band. So I want to see, what is the craziest show that you guys played?
I like the one where the guy grabbed the mic from Christian. There was this dude in like snakeskin shoes, and he had an American flag button down.
Oh, boy.
And he rushed the stage, and he was having the greatest time.
Very drunk.
You know, I mean, we were having a good time with it until he kind of overstayed his welcome.
And he got a little too touchy.
Yeah, we had
Too touchy.
He almost backed Christian around the stage.
He almost backed into me, too.
But so that was pretty fun. I wouldn't say it's necessarily craziest. Usually whenever, I don't know.
Show of Picos was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say that was pretty violent.
We played a show at Trans Pecos in Queens, and you know, the crowd really had a lot of energy and really responded to our stuff, and you know, that always makes us feel great.
So since we're on the topic of shows, how about you guys share some upcoming dates that you are playing?
Oh, it's funny you ask that.
Yeah.
We are playing a show tonight at Amityville Music Hall. We're headlining, which is pretty cool for us. It's almost a year to the date when we released our album Suicide Notes and Comic Sans. So it's pretty cool how this year has kind of come full circle, and you know, we're back at Amityville Music Hall headlining. We'll be with some local bands. If He Dies is one of them. Path We Choose, I believe, is another. And then there's 2 touring bands. One is Letting Go from New Hampshire, and the other group is called Varia. I'm not entirely sure where they're from, but they seem like stand-up boys.
The United States.
I mean,
Yeah,
we still got a bunch of shows
Yeah,
coming
we
up.
have,
Yeah,
so you take the
throw
rest of
them out there.
He's got the list.
I mean, we got one March 16th over in Rams, and another one in March 30th at Rams.
Where's Rams?
What's Rams?
Holbrook.
Holbrook.
What's
Yeah.
Holbrook?
It is a
It's
hike.
a place
That's what
so
it is.
far. Actually, wait, we're pretty far
Yeah,
out here
no,
now.
it's just-
listen,
yeah.
we traverse
It's
great
just a place.
distances
We're the
to be with
foreigners
you
here.
today. We spent as many as 55 minutes in a car
Yeah.
in one sitting.
Stony Brook's in another world.
Obviously, we're ready for the tour life.
Stony Brook's pretty much in another state.
Word.
It takes forever to get here.
But it's nice. I used to come here with my dad for like a sci-fi convention that you guys have here. It was called Icon. I don't know if you guys still do it.
I have no clue.
Yeah, no, it was pretty dope because they'd have like actors from like Lord of the Rings and they were chilling here. So that was fun. I got memories.
So, since we're on touring and show... Oh, you still got to pull up the list. My bad.
Oh, wait, no, I still got. I mean, we got those two.
Are we opening for Sworn Enemy at the Kingsland?
Would you let me get to it?
Well, I'm just,
Shit. Oh.
Guys, just do it better.
We got after those two ones that are out on Long Island, we're gonna be back in like Brooklyn in April. April 5th is at Lucky 13 with a bunch of our friends, and April 26th is gonna be at the Kingsland with Sworn Enemy and Mushmouth and Apparition, if you know them from New York hardcore.
All right, so let's talk about the LI scene right now. I want to see what are maybe some bands in the local area that you want to tour with, and if you have a chance to tour, say anywhere, where would you want to go?
Moontooth.
Yeah, Moontooth,
Moontooth.
definitely. I
Read
think
the tongues.
there's some of the hardest working guys in the local scene, and
And just the best people.
yeah, they're really
Yes,
cool.
they are.
I take guitar lessons actually with Nick, and he's awesome. He always helps me out when I have questions about the industry or where how to navigate certain things. So yeah, definitely Moontooth. Wreath the Tongues.
They're one of the craziest live bands I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
that's
their
an
music.
awesome show. Thracian is another band that we've played with.
Yeah.
Anthony, the singer, was on our track Glass Hole from our album, and yeah, I mean they're great guys out there. More Myself to Kill, Prey Upon. A lot of talent on Long Island, especially in the heavy sided stuff.
Inverted Earth. Shout out
Inverted
to
Earth
them.
is great. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm sure we're missing a bunch of people, but there's the support we've had from these guys has been invaluable. So definitely look closely at Long Island for heavy music because there's a lot of good stuff.
Also, check out Iscariot featuring Mark Lambert from Painted in Exile.
Hey, you can listen to a local music playlist by yours truly on Spotify. You can check out all the different metal bands here on Long Island. Just look up local New York music, and you can find all the great stuff here in Long Island, including Thracian, these guys here, and a lot of other bands. But anyway, I got two kind of like
give up the goods. Sorry.
non-serious questions for you guys.
Okay.
So the first one is kind of based off of your song "Stung by a Horse." Is a zombie apocalypse song, I believe. So if you guys had to, if this happened in the real world, which one of you guys would survive the longest? And who would die first?
Tony.
Tony would
Yeah,
probably survive
Tony's-
the longest.
No, I was going to say the opposite.
No. Tony runs the gambit here. He could be either the one who survives the longest out of blind luck,
Right.
or the one who dies first because he got I don't know, tetanus, by accident. So
The zombie's
Before
not
it
getting
happened.
yeah, the ALS is gonna get him.
He is patient zero.
Yeah, he's probably the one who started. I don't know. Christian's the one who writes the demented lyrics, so I think he's got the wherewithal to survive and do some pretty crazy shit.
I'd have a panic attack and die.
Yeah, we all might have a panic attack and die as soon as it starts. So yeah,
All right. So my next non-serious question before we start talking about your album Suicide Notes and Comic Sans is if you could form a side project of any genre and you can work with anybody you wanted, what would that project look like?
it would be a porno grind project with Travis Ryan from Cattle Decapitation.
Ooh. That was a quick answer.
Yeah, that's
too.
what I want to do with my life. Also, you asked about where we'd want to tour. We want to play the Gathering of the Juggalos more
Yes.
than anything.
Yeah, that's
ever.
that's
That is
actually
the
true.
one thing we want to do.
Like,
with
we
our
want to
life.
make that happen.
We want to play the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Disclaimer,
Whoever's
we-
listening right now, help us make that
Dude,
happen.
it's
Disclaimer, we
crazy,
aren't
but-
juggalos, but we want to party with them.
Yeah.
Dude, didn't they go on tour of like Atlia like last year or during last summer?
Perhaps I just need to be
I
there,
think
Yeah.
they did. actually.
playing on
They
stage.
did.
Need to get that Fago.
Yeah. So back to your original question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I needed to get that out there in case they're listening.
So what about the rest of you guys? Any ideas or no?
I would start a pop punk band and bring Gerard Way on board
Ooh.
because I'm a My Chemical Romance fan at heart.
Mm-hmm.
Probably something death metal with Eric Rutan from Hate Eternal because he's one of the best guitarists I've ever seen.
Not really too sure off the top of my head. I mean, maybe like a side, like, I don't know, maybe like a punk band or something like with no effects or something. Or it could go in a completely different direction, like an industrial thing, or like an industrial act. I don't know.
I want to play bass for Architects.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So-
Cool.
that would.
Yeah, that would be it.
All right. Yeah, very killing it now. Their latest record was great. They moved past Tom's death, correct? Yeah. And they just kept going. And I have a lot of respect for those guys. I know.
And Josh from Silos is
Yeah.
a killer guitar player, so he was the guy to step in. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's start talking about your album, Suicide Notes and Comic Sans. It
Let's.
came out about last year, you guys said. So let's start off with the album art. So why did you choose that to represent the release? It's hard to explain. It's like rotating medical bed type.
Well,
thing.
actually, I'll field that question.
Yeah, please.
Well, I have strange hobbies, and one of those actually includes something called urban exploring,
Oh.
where I like to sneak into abandoned places, particularly old asylums.
Yeah.
That's not incriminating at all.
I've gone all around the country doing that. That particular one was from one in the very deep south in Alabama. It's not quite as sinister as it looks. It's mainly a bed that can be rotated in any direction so people wouldn't get bed sores, but it happened to be positioned right there, kind of forming a perfect scene. So I took that photo on one of my trips, and that, and among some of the others I've taken, ended up being the album art, because we just felt it kind of had that ominous, kind of dreadful feel to it.
Dan takes some of the coolest
So-
pictures I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Where are
Matthew.
some other places you've been other than this place?
I
That you
mean,
can legally name.
I've been probably several hundred by now in the past 5-6 years. You know, a lot of old state hospitals. They have very interesting architecture, particularly the Gothic Victorian type.
Didn't you fall through a floor one time?
One time,
Oh, okay.
One time.
sometimes that particularly like
It's
old,
bound to happen.
old decommissioned power plants. Pretty much anything with a cool history and cool architecture. I'm into photographing it.
It's absolutely crazy if you like go on YouTube and have like all the European explorers and
Yes.
the places that they go to. And like they go to like these underground bunkers. Like I don't even know how like they find these places sometimes. It's absolutely insane.
Typically word of mouth. It's one of my dreams to go to Europe and do that. One day soon, maybe.
Alright, so let's start talking about the production of the record. So how did the process compare to your earlier release, Malicious Intent?
All right, so both albums were recorded with Liquid Studios. Our producer, the guy who mixed it and mastered it, Dan Tabbitt, he works out of Vermont. He's a great guy. I totally recommend using Liquid Studios. The first time he actually came to our practice space when we were recording Malicious Intent, and we just did everything in the same room, right there. He mic'd up the drums, and then we did, the amps and everything like that. This process was a little bit different. We tracked everything ourselves, and we did that out of Tony's basement.
Yeah, many days of tracking
Oh, I
on
remember
the
that.
computer with
Tony
the,
save.
with the
Dan
pretty large
Tune.
interface.
Dan Tune,
They got a
Tony save.
16 channel interface that I had from like an older band that we used it a lot. So I was like, well, I have like a $1,200 interface. We could just track it, and then we sent it out to them to they mixed and mastered it. So
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
like kind of half at
reamped.
my house, half at.
Right, yeah, they reamped everything on their end, and yeah, I mean, you know, originally we were going a different route with the recording, and it wasn't great, and then we lost a member, and that
Yeah.
wasn't great, and then we fully
pretty
recovered.
It was pretty great,
Made a
actually.
great new friend,
Yes, we did. It was pretty great.
and now we have a bunch of attractive boys in one band.
So during the process, there must be some parts of the record that are difficult to track. So what were your personal kind of like battles that you had to try and like finish a part, or just difficulty?
The whole record for me.
The whole record.
Jesse joined the band as we were recording.
And they would show me the part, and I would record it.
Yeah,
Sitting right
I'd
there.
be like, it goes like this, and he's like, it goes like this, and I'd
It's
be
like,
like,
no,
yeah,
maybe.
and then we press record, and then that was it.
And I would always get it really, really good when we weren't recording it.
Right.
Well, as soon as we recorded, nope. And there were like sweatshop conditions in Tony's basement. It was like really hot. He didn't have a real monitor for me, so I had to bring my amp in there and rig it somehow.
Forgot about that.
To kind of try to hear myself on top of the iMac
Oh, okay.
speakers.
His mom kept yelling at us because
Oh.
we were smoking weed.
Yeah, we were enjoying ourselves.
general
a little
purposes.
too loudly, a little too smellily, and it was a good time. But
Picture it from her perspective. Imagine having to hear like Christian do his
just-
vocals while
oh my God.
you're trying to make dinner upstairs or something.
well, to get a little like insight to that, what is it? Buffalo. The
Buffalo Child
Buffalo
Wings.
Child Wings.
beginning of it, where we have the clip of Tony's mom talking to Tony.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my mom saying that as a joke, but I don't know.
Definitely
if you
as a
know
joke.
I don't know if you.
It's
like,
not-
offhand
Yeah,
know
trigger
what we're
warning.
referring to, but
It's not
You really
staged.
have to understand the
There's
dynamics
a
between
little-
There's a little
Tony
snippet.
and his mom.
Yeah, listen to our track Buffalo Child Wings, and you know what we're talking about.
So what about for the rest of you guys? What parts did you have difficulty tracking?
I mean, some of like the really fast guitar parts, some of the solos. You always get it like exactly right when you're not recording it, and then of course when you press record, you do
It's
it
like,
5,000 times.
Yeah.
And then you just want to smash your guitar into a curl up in a corner.
All right, so let's talk about the small aspects of the record that people should listen for. Sometimes it's small melodies or small vocal parts, small guitar parts, whatever it may be. What should people kind of listen for when they go through this record again for the first time, whatever playthrough it may be?
Well, since I did work really hard on the bass, there were a lot of techniques I kind of stole from Ryan Martini from Mudvayne to try to, add a little zazz. And,
It's plenty of ass.
plenty of zazz. And, I don't know. I think I did a pretty cool job on it.
did.
And I'm proud of it.
You
We
did it.
agree.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
amazing
check
job.
this record out for nothing else, check it out for the bass lines.
Long bass.
Long bass.
Long
bass. I'd like people to listen to it for all the little references to like television shows and movies and things that we put in there, video games and stuff like that. I just I like having little secret things or things that only a certain group of people might be able to relate to, and then it might strike up a conversation. I don't know.
That actually brings up one of the questions I was going to say later, because one of the songs is named "I'm Sorry, Rumham," and that's an obvious reference to Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, it
so, what other references were there on this record, and like, how did you go about like naming the songs and picking that title for like a specific song?
I guess it was whatever was funniest at the time, or I don't know. I mean, all right, like Glass Hole is a reference to a show called Silicon Valley on HBO.
Yeah.
Rumham, Always Sunny. Trixie Hobbits is Lord of the Rings. There's even a sound clip in there. What's next?
I did a ghost. Is just kind of
I had relations with a ghost, but it's okay because I'm also kind of a ghost too.
that was just kind of
Yeah, that
Isn't
was
that the
weird.
Final Fantasy little
Oh
sound?
yeah, there were Final Fantasy sound clips before that.
specifically Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. what's next?
Well, Stung by a Horse. Stung by a
is
Horse.
not a heroin reference.
I was literally, when I named it, I was picturing a horse with a big scorpion tail instead of a regular horse tail, just going around like injecting people with venom.
So what's the I'm a demon thing from?
Oh, that's from Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job.
Okay, so
Will Forte plays a character that says I'm a demon.
so we have Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
And then we had
What's after that?
Grabthar.
By Grabthar's hammer, what a savings is a line spoken by Alan Rickman in the movie
Alan
Galaxy
Rickman.
Quest.
Okay.
I
Snape
love
in
that
peace.
movie. Yeah,
Professor Snape.
yeah.
Serious Snape.
Rest in peace. And then after that is Buffalo Child Wings. That should be pretty easy to get. And then we have, where you and
Should
your
it be,
mom
though?
are affectionately talking to each other.
Yeah.
And then I have to return some videotapes. That's a reference to American Psycho. And we have some
There's
sound
some
clips
sound
from
clips in
American
there.
Dad. in there.
American Dad.
All
We're
right.
gonna get sued.
At some point, copyright
Yeah.
for about like half a second.
If it happens as a result of this interview, could we just send the bill to Stony Brook University?
Yeah. Straight to the administration
Yeah,
building.
your
Send
tuition's
it to
gonna
my
go up.
mom.
All right, so for this record, artists always like listen to like different artists during the process. So, what were some albums that you listened to and took inspiration from during the making of this record?
Slaughter of the Soul by At the Gates. And Black Tie Murder,
It's fair enough.
Lamb of God, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I mean, I was listening to some Cult Leader around that time, but I wouldn't say that has. There's not a lot of stuff
Yeah.
on there that sounds like Cult Leader. I don't know. I take a lot of influence, I guess, from like Kill Switch Engage or
Yeah.
Black Dahlia Murder, or like As I Lay Dying was another thing that I was really into for a time. And then whatever my fingers happen to do by accident on guitar, if I think that sounds cool, I'll just go with it.
All right, so let's talk about your music video for Glass Hole. So this is pretty basic music video, like playthrough music video, but it has one twist. You guys are playing Jenga. So
right.
where did that idea come from?
There's a film called The Seventh Seal by a guy named Ingmar Bergman. It's like one of these like classics of filmmaking or whatever. Anyway, the guy plays chess with death on the beach, and I wanted to kind of just take that idea and like turn it on its head a little bit. And so,
Jenga.
Yeah, Jenga.
Bill and
Right.
Ted did it
Originally
too.
we were gonna have Jesse play death, and
But Tony has such a better face. for
yeah,
it.
Tony really ended up like pulling it off so well.
I'm way too cute and like Cherubic looking to really pull that off.
Tony
But
has that
Tony's
evil
sinister.
nose.
Yeah.
I kind of got convinced like last minute I came by and everyone was like,
Convinced we
Tony,
made
just
him.
do it.
We just got him drunk and let him do it.
Yeah, I was drinking a lot of vodka.
We
I was
just
like,
kept
"All right,
feeding
give
him
me
the
vodka, I'll
Directing
do it."
this kid is the toughest thing you'll ever do in your life.
Directing this kid while
It's
he
like
is
trying
wasted.
to.
is
It's
one
like
of the
trying to
hardest
walk a
things.
kitten.
Yeah,
it's bad.
trying to keep you with the robe on in the same
Oh,
spot
that
the whole
whole
time.
thing. Yeah, the rope kept falling off. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
He kept scratching his makeup.
Right.
He's such a diva. Such a diva.
So
Not
anyway,
good
now
enough
the
for him.
makers of Jenga can sue us too.
There's still Jenga pieces in my
Taking
basement.
breaks to pee in the slop sink.
Yeah,
That happened.
yeah.
So, is there any other funny or weird stories that happened in the studio?
Well, shout out to Washed Up Media for helping us on that video. We love those guys. They're actually taking pictures of us tonight.
Yeah, Sean
Uh,
kept hitting his head on my stairs.
Yeah,
Kinda
he was
funny, but
concussed by the end of the day. But as far as funny stories from recording, we were just trying to get the best clip of Tony and his mom yelling at each other that we possibly could, and we ended up getting one that wasn't yelling, but was the best thing I've ever heard.
I actually that night I did it. I recorded the clip. I was just there working on something. I was just recording them because I thought it was funny, and it made it to the album.
Yeah.
Complete coincidence.
All right, so how about we're going to end it with a couple lyrical questions. I picked some lines from some songs. So the first one's from Glass Hole. Just kind of give an overview of the lines, and if you can, just give an overview of what the song's about. Because sometimes I pick some difficult lines, and it might take a little bit to figure it out.
That's interesting.
So the first one, again from Glass Hole, it goes, has his room gone quiet, or did everyone get up and leave? Maybe cynicism is shunned when spoken publicly.
Hand it over to you.
Oh, it's Chris's time to shine right now. No, I guess that is more of a reference to how everybody acts, like, I don't know. In general,
the
I told
philosophy
you.
of this band, though, is like, you know, we're a bunch of cynical people.
it's very cynical. It's just that everybody, you know, they say one thing, and then once you start speaking out and saying truth about stuff, everybody gets quiet and just kind of like fades off into the background. So that's kind of that.
All right, so the next song, I picked out the lines. This silence has become overwhelming, the buzz of a static serving as a conductor to the deepest parts of my subconsciousness. Testing, possessing, infecting me. That's from the song I'm Sorry from Him.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't actually know the lyrics aside from a handful.
These are beautiful lyrics, Chris.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've never
Great job.
actually
I never knew you were this
read all the
deep.
lyrics.
No, we let him do whatever he wants. Pretty much.
Like, I just
So wait, basically I've just been doing all this work for nothing. I could have
Yeah.
just been
Yeah, you
saying
could be
whatever.
phoning it
You're
in
More or
all
just
the
screaming
time.
to the mic and you're
What do
just
you think
fine.
the rest of us are doing?
I thought it was about the episode. I'm sorry, like ham.
Oh, really? You thought it was about ham?
No, not really.
I thought it was about something, but I wasn't too sure.
Bag of trash.
I don't know. Most of my songs deal with like depression or, you know, just mental problems going on, and that's more of like an internalization of everything I feel on like a normal day-to-day basis.
All right, so I got one
Cheery.
more line for you, and that's from Buffalo Child Wings, and it goes, I stare into the abyss, and it stares right back at me, beckoning ever so with its sultry siren songs, lulling me into a quiet state of complacency.
Complacency.
Complacency, yeah. Thank you.
I mean, that first part
It's
is
Nietzsche.
Yeah.
It's a I stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares back at me. Is Nietzsche? You know, he's a quote from him, and it's just
God is dead.
God is dead. It's just all about existential dread, and I just feel like that all the time. Oh, am I clipping?
Yeah, a little bit, but
Oh, my bad.
you're good.
I was getting excited.
Yeah, watch the red.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay.
too far.
Yeah, no, that's it.
All right, well,
this song is about
see, that works, though, because you're not clipping. So.
Ooh.
So, I want to thank you guys for coming in
Thank you
and
for
giving
having
us
us, Kyle.
an overview of your record,
Thanks, man.
Suicide Notes and Comic Sans, and a little history about the band, as well as some funny stories, and yeah.
Yeah, we're happy to share it
Yeah,
with
thanks for having us on. It was
So-
definitely.
you. Yeah, it's been an
Experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, we got a show tonight. Everybody who wants to come check us out, Amityville Music Hall.
Amityville.
What
talk
time
to
does that
us,
show
though.
start?
Yeah.
We don't go up to
I
people.
think doors
we're
are at 7. And yeah, we'll be the awkward guys standing around in a
Together,
circle. Yeah,
usually.
not talking to anyone or making new
Not on
friends.
purpose.
No, we're lucky we have this many friends.
All right, well, where can people keep up to date with you and find your music online?
Basically, our Facebook page is the best way to either reach out to us or see what we're doing. Our Instagram, we also update that pretty regularly. But I guess YouTube for our music videos, Bandcamp and Spotify, iTunes, all that loveliness for our songs.
Graham.
Yeah. And then Tumblr for nudes.
Tumblr. No, they took
Not
that. They
anymore.
took
They
those
took those
off.
away.
You don't have to tell me about Tumblr taking nudes down. I know. All right.
The
I'm
frappening
furious.
All
Making
right.
the internet wholesome again.
Well, everyone stay tuned for later in the show. I'm going to be having the alternative...